Hello and welcome to the Machinists News Network. I'm DEIRDRE KANIEWSKI. Recently, the AFL-CIO held its first Young Workers Summit here in Washington, D.C. The conference drew hundreds of young activists with their ideas and the drive to change and grow the labor movement. Right from the start, you could tell this conference was unique. Yes, there were delegates, but not the typical faces usually found in a union hall. And there was voting, but this too came with a bit of a twist. All that was left untouched was the message of these activists, invoking the heart and soul of the labor movement as it's done in union halls around the country and by all generations.
I'm union, I'm a postal worker.
I am union and I'm a steel worker.
I am union and I'm a community organizer.
Despite using the newest media, the hottest songs from the radio, or the latest sports celebrities, the young men and women in this room were here to do a job. And they proved their passion for labor by getting down to work. The AFL hopes their ideas will help construct a new movement that will work for the next generation.
We need you. And part of my job now is to make sure the labor movement makes a difference for you and your life and works with you to build the kind of country that you want to live in. And that's why we're here together, to make our labor movement one that works for you. You know the power of collective action. You understand the power of having a union. And you have a vision for an active, diverse labor movement that can be the driver of progressive change.
You see, this is our country. And by God, this country should reflect our values, not somebody else's. And this weekend, it's your job to start the conversations and to craft the strategies to begin to do it.
For the hundreds of trade unionists in this room, representing the nearly 25% of labor who is under the age of 35, this charge was taken to heart. They spent the weekend mostly in breakout sessions, figuring out ways to save the labor movement and make it work for them.
There are big problems in the world, and we can't just take care of it ourselves. The people we have now can't just take care of it themselves. In order to really grow and continue as a movement, we have to keep growing and evolving. And I think the relationships that we've built here today and that we're going to go back and continue building with other young people that's going to be the genesis of the larger labor movement when we leave here.
Although for many this conference was a first, the ideas developed in these groups were anything but amateur. Solutions ranging from the local to the national level.
I think local lodges, district lodges, maybe even the Grand Lodge Executive Council, we should actually create a position on all of the executive boards for a young person.
The thought of starting young labor councils or young worker committees across the country and having it be something that can be done at the CLC level so that local folks can bring in kind of young, kind of local workers or folks that should be involved with labor, having it be out of the state fed so that there's a pipeline for those leaders to emerge into.
But some surprisingly similar themes emerged from all the groups. Union education ranked first and foremost, both inside and outside of the movement.
Create a committee at the local level to make sure that the younger generation's needs are met, that they're involved, to teach them, to orientate them when they come in, to even teach them what the union is and what the purpose is.
Mentoring was also a running theme. The workers in this room will tell you it's not all about Facebook and Twitter. They too want that face-to-face interaction.
You know, we mess with them down south. We call them old-timers and things like that. But, you know, you got to be respectful in the same sense to them and appreciate what they do bring to the table because they got the experience and everything else behind it.
There's definitely been a calling for more mentorship between older union members and newer, younger union members to really build that connection to being a trade unionist and making that part of your identity.
But one of the loudest rallying cries from this group was for their collective voice to be heard on their level. For the next up generation, LOL doesn't mean to laugh out loud. According to these activists, it should stand for something else.
Listen, open, and learn. So we want the AFL-CIO to listen to us, be open to our new ideas, and then learn more about those ideas and communicate back with us on how we can further connect to the youth.
In the end, that's the key. A mixture of the old and new, combining the past and present generations into a movement that works for all. Today's world looks very different than it once did, and according to these activists, so too should the labor movement. For more on the summit and other stories, you can check out goim.org. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time on the Machinists News Network.